This video is all about how to remove the seats in an SL, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to actually retrim the seats as well. Now this is a project car here. It's got the wrong colour seats in. These seats aren't actually bolted in, they're just rested in, and whoever's put them in has put them in back to front, because obviously that is the passenger seat, it should be on this side. So these seats are nice and simple to get out because they're not bolted in. But let me just show you on a later SL, this one here, 1983 to 80 SL, and this has a height adjustment mechanism here. And on this style of seats, to get it out, you just need to remove the two bolts holding in that fitting, and there's one bolt at the front as well. But on the earlier SLs, without that height adjustment, there is, I believe, an additional bolt. So you've got the front bolt here and the rear bolt there. That's nice and simple. And then there's a hidden bolt underneath the seat here. So if we go to our rusty 450 SL parts car, we've undone the front and the back bolts, but there's another bolt which you can just about feel under there with your hand. Now this car has had all sorts of rodents and everything else in it, so it's not very nice putting a hand under there. But this seat is not sliding forward to reveal that bolt because it's stuck on the runners, so I'm going to have to try and get a socket with an extension onto those two bolts on either side, and hopefully we'll be able to lift this seat out, because we need several parts from this seat. First of all, we need this back here. When you buy cheap and cheerful seats, you don't usually get the back bit here, and it's very easy to break this when you take it out, so we'll be trying to do that carefully. And we also need things like this here. If you don't know how to get this off, it's very easy to break it, and that is exactly what has happened on this car here. Somebody's obviously tried to get this off and broken it in the process. Now, I have done a whole video about disassembling these seats already, and one of the things in that video was showing you how to get this piece here off. Now, what you need is a little watchmaker screwdriver in one of the gaps, and that top thing will just pop off, hopefully. Quite difficult to do that with one hand. There you go. I'm going to get this chair out, compare it with the other chair and see what we're working with. This one, if anything, is in slightly better condition than that one there, but as I say, we will be needing and using some of the bits off that seat for this car. First thing I'm going to do is try and get these runners off, and the way to do that is to push this thing down. It should just tap off backwards like so. Pretty rusty. When you disassemble these seats, make a very careful note of what's on either side. On this side, there's two white plastic runners. These top bits of trim here just pull straight off, or if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get a screwdriver behind there, try and twist it off and crack it, just like someone's done there. There should be two hollow tabs there that fit through these holes here and here. And these screws here, we're going to need a blowtorch on the back to get them out. Similarly with this here, there's thread lock in there, and you'll, my experience, never get them out without heating up these screws. This bottom piece of trim usually has all the tabs broken off, but those tabs fit in those holes. There's actually I think there's a bit of plastic that should be behind there that this clips into, but that just comes straight off. And this piece of trim on this side, you have to basically knock this ring round anti-clockwise until those bits there are over there, and then this will just lift off. Once you've got that aligned over the holes, that bit should just lift straight off like that. And then this just pulls off. Once again, these two tabs here both fit in those holes, and you'll need a blowtorch to get those screws out. We've got to heat the back of these screws to get them out, and to get to the back you've got to take this little back panel off. It's usually held on with a Phillips screw. This screw looks remarkably unrusty and still has the metal cap in there. Once you've taken that screw out, the bottom part will come out like so, but whatever you do, don't try and force that back, because it's clipped here, here and here, And what you have to do is wiggle it from side to side until it eventually comes loose. Some of these are really stuck in there tightly, but this one came out without too much fuss, with just a small bit of damage there. Now, in my experience, it takes about 1.5 minutes with a blowtorch to get these hot enough, and you heat them from the rear, and then after 1.5 minutes, we're going to use just a drill like that, high torque setting. And that screw is going to be blisteringly hot, so don't be tempted to pick it up with your hand. The screws on this side actually came out without a blowtorch, so maybe this has been off before and they never put any thread lock on when they put it back together. Next thing, before we can detach, remember this metal is all going to be hot, before we can detach this from the bottom, we need to undo these cables, and it's slightly easier to undo the cables if you loosen this thing here, and it's held on by this clip. That clip just lifts up and slides back like so. That should pop through there, and that should allow you to loosen that. It's much, ooh, that's hot. It's much easier to get the cable, detach the cable once you've loosened that. You have to take that clip off in its entirety actually to get these cables out. Now, before you start detaching cables, etc., just make a note of how they are routed. This cable is routed over those two and under this central bar and under this here. This cable is routed over and over and over and all the way down to there. If your cables are joined together like that, you're going to actually have to undo this end first to get those cables out. And this is just a clip. We just need a screwdriver to get that clip off, and then that should just come out from there. This clip just levers up with a big flat blade screwdriver. Try not to drop it down the drain. Remember which way the clip goes on. It goes on that way. You've got that clip off. You should just be able to wedge that out. Try not to lose this little plastic bit here. That should allow you to thread that cable through there. So, anything on the other end, just lever that up gently, not to break it. This clip is not actually symmetrical. The flat side goes towards the metal bit. Again, you should be able to wiggle these wires out like so, and then just pull it through. Just wedge that out like so. Just pull that through. There we go. Those cables come out in their entirety. Before we move on, we'll put that back together, put that clip back on there, and these two clips back on here, so we don't lose them at a later date. Holding this together is this flexible rod here, which allows both sides to turn. Just going to detach that plastic clip from there. We should be able to pull this. It's a little bit rusty, but we're just getting a big flat blade screwdriver in there, and that should separate that, and then we should be able to lift this off. Okay, we've got that bit out. Don't lose the plastic clip, and that should leave this top bit free. This little chrome piece here just clips out. Be very careful when you're taking these bits out. Try and do it with a really wide flat blade screwdriver, because it's incredibly easy to crack these little bits of chrome, and extremely annoying when you do so. Similarly with these pieces here, they are clipped in the center, and the way to get them out is not to dig a screwdriver under the end, but to get a tiny little watchmaker's screwdriver and then put a larger flat blade screwdriver in there to try and lever them out. We're going to start off ever so carefully, just taking a small watchmaker's screwdriver and going round. It's so easy to crack these bits here. As I say, they may not have been off the car for 50 years. Someone may have used glue to put them in there, hopefully not. Then we're going to go in with a larger flat blade screwdriver and see if we can get those off. Okay, the secret is to go in at the middle. The clips are actually on the middle of here. Sometimes you can get in behind. This one seems to be coming up. Don't rush this, otherwise you will curse yourself. Just pushing up from behind. There you can see 2 clips, 1, 2, and 1 plastic trim clip out without breaking it. It's actually really easy to get these out. They just push out from behind. Well, a little bit melted, but otherwise it's just a matter of untucking this and getting all of this off. Hardest thing is actually disassembling the seat. Once you've got that far, the rest of it is relatively easy. Once you've got all the trim pieces off, it's just a matter of taking the sides off carefully. Now these from memory are just glued on at the top here and folded underneath. Usually you won't be reusing a seat cover. I would like to take things off carefully if I possibly can. Just see that glue there. Kind of make a note on the corners how they've actually tucked it in and how they've done it, because it will help you when you come to put your new cover on. Just using a large flat blade screwdriver to lift all of this out of here. This is just, from memory, just tucked under. There'll be a piece of cardboard or plastic in here. Once you've got that off, you should be able to peel the whole seat off. Is how you get the back seat cover off. This is a vinyl seat cover here. It's actually in pretty good condition with a clean up. If anyone needs a seat cover that colour, that'll be absolutely fine to go back on the car. These coconut hair pads, I don't think they do them exactly the same anymore, but I think you can still get them. I seem to remember from my silver car up there I had to replace the cushions, etc. They're horribly expensive. But it does make a big difference if yours are worn out. This one's actually in really good condition, so we'll be using that on the project car. You might be lucky these are coming out without the aid of a blowtorch, which is amazing. Careful note of everything you take out. This has got a spring washer on that side, and it's got a plastic washer that goes over there. And make sure you don't use this piece here. Should be able to slide that out. Just de-rust that. The flat side goes towards the chair and this side slides in there. Next up, we're going to take these springs out. Just make a careful note of which hole they go in. On this side here, you've actually got material wrapped around and stapled or hog-ringed to that. So I don't know what happened to the material on this side, but we're going to unhook the screw from here just using a small screwdriver. Spring actually just came out in my hand. We'll be popping that in a rust bath, seeing if we can get all the rust off. This one's in a little bit tighter. These clips just lift and then slide back. Once you've got those 2 clips off, you should, in theory, be able to take off the last bit of metal work. Those 2 clips, you can still get these from Mercedes. Get this last piece off. This little fitting just comes out, just taps out. This bit just comes out like so. Careful you don't lose it. And that allows you to get all of this piece off here. Once again, we'll put that in a rust bath and paint that up, and that will come out looking like new. To get this cover off, most of it actually just tucks, is just clipped in and like this. There is some glue down here, and these little hog rings here, the easiest way to get them off is just to cut them off, unless yours are in pristine condition, you're planning to use them again, but we have a hogging gun and spares, so we'll just be cutting those off. I don't know if there's actually any glue on here at all on this side. I think there is a little bit of glue from memory on here and here, but we just need to get a screwdriver under there, cut those off, and that's job done on the seat disassembly. Unclip this from there. The easiest way to do is to actually compress the seat, and then you'll find that that actually comes out relatively easily. Once again, if you are doing this job, make a careful note of the number of hog rings. On this car there's just 3. On some cars this is hog ringed to each one of these springs. There's a hog ring here and not one on this side. Make sure you put these in the bin and don't drive over them. Put all the hog rings off. This should just lift them off. Now it's important, inside here is a metal rod and you'll need to keep that so don't lose it. The last things you need to do to get this seat cover off is unscrew these fittings here. And now they're flat on that side, so I normally do it with a adjustable wrench, which I don't happen to have here. Then bits can be rusted on solid, but if you're lucky you'll be able to get a 14mm spanner on there and they'll come out eventually. Once again, we'll pop that in a rust bath, possibly spray that out, and that'll be as good as new. If you've taken that last piece out, you should be able to lift off the cover. And hey presto, there we have. Not too many viewers will have a seat in this kind of condition, but there are 2 reasons why you might want to trim your own seats, or at least disassemble your own seats. The first reason, the very obvious reason, is when you disassemble these seats, these plastic trim pieces here and here, there's a couple down here on the side, are very brittle after 40 or 50 years. And if you give this to a trimmer who doesn't know what they're doing, is not familiar with SL seats and how fragile those parts might be, there's a very good chance that you might end up with cracking those pieces, or the trimmer might end up cracking those pieces, and that's not only very expensive, but some of those pieces are quite difficult to get hold of. So one of the first reasons for why you might want to disassemble the seat yourself is that if you do the job yourself, you are far more likely to take care, and when you give the disassembled seats to the trimmer, you'll be able to have all the parts intact, and those parts generally clip in place much easier than they actually clip out of place. The second reason is simply cost. If you go along to a trimmer and you present him with the seat covers and a disassembled seat, it'll take a fraction of the time for him to add any foam and do any little gluing and trimming bits, compared to him having to figure out how to disassemble that seat from scratch. And even if he's an expert in SL seats and he's done a million of them before, it's still going to take some time, which you're going to end up paying for. We're going to finish this video here. In the next video we're going to be de-rusting all of these seat bases, retrimming the seats, and probably recarpeting the car.